Ladies, if you are confused or you are wondering what it means when a guy leaves you on red, this video is for you, because not only are we going to go over a guy leaving you on red, we're going to go over not only what it means, but if you should double text and what to actually do in that case, okay? Now, if you like this video and you like the format, please leave a like below, click the thumbs up so I know to make more videos this way, and let's dive right into it. So there are a lot of reasons why a guy will leave you on red, but what's more important is context. Okay, it's context, meaning the things you guys do and the things you guys say that creates this seriousness or this vibe between you two in terms of a relationship. And you have to understand that when a guy leaves you on red, it's usually for 3 reasons. I mean, it could be a genuine reason, like, hey, I'm busy, and say he usually gets back to you. Okay, we'll talk about that in a bit. But let's say it's other things, such as he's taking you for granted, he's losing interest in terms of attraction for you, like he just doesn't see you as the option that he once did. And or the most important one is context. So let me jump into that for a little bit. I think context is the most important thing ever in a relationship, or at least going from casual to committed. It is the reason I truly believe that a guy shows a lot of interest early on, yet early on it ends. Like a guy 1 week could be showing a lot of interest, or for 2 months everything could be going well, and then the 3rd month it just dives down. And that's why I really emphasize it in my course, Attraction Academy, that and framing and other techniques and philosophies. If you want to check that out, that's down below, but I'm still going to touch on it a little bit here. You have to understand that if a guy leaves you on red, and let's say it's not a lack of interest, let's say it's not taking you for granted, let's say it's not a truthful, genuine reason, such as being busy or an emergency or something like that, then it's context. And what I mean by that is, if the things you two do and say, talking, texting, sex, future planning, the cuddles, the consistency, the frequency, meeting his friends or family, mom, that's family, whatever, leaving stuff over at his house, I call that threading, all that kind of stuff. If it starts to feel like a serious vibe, yet you're not on the same page, the same wavelength, he's going to pull away. This is what I call the renegotiation. It's something I also talk about in my course. It's a renegotiation. He's going to pull away to slow it down because he's not on the same page as you. And women are like, well, why is he doing that? But he doesn't just tell me it's over or cut me off or this or that, because that's so matter of fact. That's like the stake in the heart, like I'm just cutting off these assets, when he might be unsure, and or he just doesn't want to be impulsive, and or he doesn't want to break your heart. Okay? It's something along the lines of that. But if a guy is leaving you on red and it's consistent, and especially if it comes out of nowhere, it's probably the context. It's the pressure. And I guess another way of putting that is, let's say you both have assets, right? I'm putting something here. Let's say you both have assets, whatever they are, like things you like from each other. To obtain these assets, I guess you can call them desires. To attain these desires, you have to invest in the other person, whether that's initiating, reaching out, proving yourself, courting, just any type of effort. But by doing so, both of you, by doing so, you create context naturally. So the talking, the texting, the frequency, the reaching out, the initiating, again, the dates, you're creating context to get access to the assets. In the beginning, it's fun, it's cool, it's awesome because there's no context created. It's just 2 people who like each other who are chasing assets. And that doesn't mean just sex. It could be like, I like this person, she's cool, she's awesome, she's funny, she gets me. It could be all that. But over time, it paints a picture, right? The seriousness, it paints a picture. And if he's not on the same page, well then these assets now come at a cost. And he's going to ask himself, am I willing to pay this cost? And if it's a yes, he's going to pay it, and you won't be left on red, or you won't be ignored, or he won't be pulling away. If he doesn't want to pay this cost, and he freaks out, he gets in his own head, or he's emotionally unavailable, he starts to retract. And leaving you on red is one of those unfortunate signs. So the next question I guess you should ask is, Should I double text? Is there ever a good time to double text? And here's a different way of looking at that. You have to look at double texting as validation. And both parties, like I said, when you're going for the assets, we like validation because it tells us, hey, you like me, I can get more of these assets, you feel the same, I'm not making mistakes, there's a mutual agreement, so on and so forth. And there's different ways of, it's not just texting, there's different ways of showing validation. You giving up your opening your legs, all right? That's, or you putting out, that is a form of validation. Him initiating, or you initiating first. The good mornings, the good nights, that's a form of validation. You know, the putting forth the effort, remembering things you say, the investing money, time, energy in you, that's all forms of validation. Double texting is no different. You want him to text you because it gives you validation. It's reciprocal investment. Obviously, it's also common sense. Like if I say something, you should respond. But if you don't get that, it's lacking you're lacking validation. You get in your head, you're freaking out. At the same time, you double texting him is validation. So, is there a good time to double text? In my opinion, if he's giving you validation in other ways, and it's not something he does often, meaning like leaving you on red, or if it's not something he does often, and things are good for the most part, it's like as in it's progressing towards a relationship, it's not something he usually does, of course you can double text. If he's investing in you in another way, okay, and you guys are good for the most part, and if you feel a progression, go ahead. There's nothing wrong with it. However, on the opposite end, if that all is not the case, if things are a little rocky and you're just wanting to double text for validation, you fear losing him, he's taking you for granted, and again, it feels a little off, and then you do that, you're just giving him more power. You're giving a guy who's treating you casual, a guy who's treating you conveniently, a guy who obviously isn't interested, you're giving him power. Do not double text. Instead, you need to call the dude out. Which leads me to the last thing. When does it actually become a problem? So I look at things more, I guess, psychological, in the sense that there's a difference between a mistake and a character flaw. If this is the first time it happened, or it's very rare, and again, things are good for the most part, look at it as a mistake, okay? It's a mistake. It happens. No one's perfect. I leave people on red, family members on red. It just happens. It is what it is. I'm busy. That's my excuse, but it's true. However, if it happens often and you're looking at the context, the vibe, again, is the most important. Context is the most important thing with relationships. If you want to know more about it, please click my link below to my course, Attraction Academy. It's the most important thing ever to understand. If things are a little rocky and he's doing it not meaning like all the time, but if he's doing it at least once a week or more, it's a problem. You need to call him out, and you need to tell him what's up, even if that means losing him, ladies. Because if you think by holding your breath and biting your tongue that things are going to magically change, that's not how it works. Men go towards the path of least resistance. So you got to understand context and the fact that if he's already doing this, there's a reason why. Why would he not do it more? It's obviously what he wants. It's obviously more convenient for him, more casual, more just better, simplistic for him to do it, so he's going to keep on doing it. And he's only going to reach out when he wants access to the assets and he wants access to you, okay? So that being said, ladies, if a guy leaves you on red, for the most part, it's not good. You focus more on context. I think you should only double text if there's other forms of validation he's given you and things are good between you two overall and it's progressing. And lastly, it's only a problem, I feel, if it becomes more of a character flaw than a mistake. If it's something he's doing often and you feel the context has changed, you got to call a dude out. So with that being said, ladies, I love you all. Take care and peace.